This is the JCS-1000 machine, and here are 90% of the controls for the machine. Here's the main power disconnect, and then here's the control transformer switch. And then you're also going to find most of the controls that you're going to need to adjust on the machine at any given time, and then also the start and stop button and the feed, forward, and reverse buttons. This guy right here is going to be your staple sequence. You'll adjust it according to this placard here, according to whatever size you intend to run. This switch here will either allow you to shoot the first and last staple or not shoot the first and last staple. This guy is the disable auto feed button. Think of this as like a pause button for the feed of the machine. This guy right here is the start and stop. This guy is the forward and reverse for the feed system. And then here you've got the switch that tells it whether to shoot 9 staples or 5 staples. In order to turn on the machine, you're first going to turn on your main disconnect switch, and then you'll pull the control transformer switch out. And then if you notice, we've got 6 lights right here. You've got the control power, overload relay, e-stop, stop, start, and then 24 volt. You want all 6 of those to be on, and in order to get the last 2 lights on, we're going to go ahead and hit the start button, and you'll notice that all of our lights are now on. So the machine is almost ready to operate at this point. We still need to do a couple more things to get it ready to operate. Right here we've got the main air supply valve. You'll rotate this guy counterclockwise to turn it on, and you'll want to do it kind of slowly. That noise you hear is the air expansion tank filling with air. Right here we've got the water separator, and then we have the regulator for your valves and things, and then we have an oiler for the valves. Right here we've got the air expansion tank. This is the regulator for the air expansion tank. This goes to specifically the staple guns on the machine, and then this is the oiler for specifically the staple guns on the machine. Here we have the adjustments for the side staple guns that attach the trim to the jamb on the machine. This one here is to adjust the depth, and after you have the depth set to approximately a 32nd away from the piece of trim when it's interfaced with the jamb on the machine, you will want to lock down this T-handle here, and that will prevent this from moving after you've got it set. Right here we've also got some height and rotational adjustments for the staple gun itself. Depending on the reveal or the specific design of the trim that you're wanting to run through the machine, you'll either want to raise or lower or possibly rotate the staple gun to meet your needs. This is the staple gun for the doorstop on the machine. You have a variety of adjustments that you can make to this to get it where you would like it on the machine so that you staple in the correct place on the doorstop. You've got some horizontal adjustment this way. You've got some vertical adjustment this way with these bolts. And then you've also got additional adjustment horizontally here, and then side to side here. And then the same thing with this knob here. In order to use the knob, you're going to have to loosen these bolts first, and that will allow you to move it back and forth this way. These bolts right here will allow you to rotate the staple gun to whatever angle you would like. Here we have another important adjustment on the machine. In order to adjust this safely, you will want to turn off the air and the power, lock out, tag out the machine. Right here we have it currently set to 7/16, and this is going to be for when you run your headers. When you switch over to run your legs, you're going to want to rotate this around to the other position by first loosening the screw back here, and then when you have it in your desired position, you'll just tighten up the bolt back here, and then you'll want to then turn the air and power back on, and then you should be ready to run the machine. Here we've got some more important adjustments that you're going to have to make to the machine when you switch from different profile trim pieces or different thickness jambs, or switch from right to left hand on your legs. What you're going to want to do is loosen up these kip handles after placing the jamb material and the trim material doorstop into the machine. And you're just going to slide these until they touch your material. And then you're going to tighten up these kip handles. And you just want a little bit of pressure on these. You don't want it to be too tight, or else the material is going to have a hard time feeding through the machine. This middle adjustment here is going to dictate whether you're running a right or left-hand leg. And you'll just loosen up these kip handles just like you did for these, and then you'll measure from your doorstop to the edge of the jamb and just confirm whether it's 1 3/8 or 1 3/4 or whatever the door thickness is that you desire. Here we have another important adjustment on the machine. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to adjust these so that they're not exactly firmly, but you want some resistance as the piece of trim fully stapled up feeds through these wheels. And the importance of these are that it's going to help the consistency of the reveal here on your jamb. If these are not set correctly, you may notice that your reveal here is a little narrower here, less here, and then maybe more as you work your way down the jamb or header as it comes out of the machine. So you just want to make sure that this line right here is interfacing good with your trim and your jamb, and that they are touching but not giving too much pressure here. The way you would adjust these is you would loosen these collars here. You've got 2 here, 2 here, and then you've also got some slots on these bearings that allow you to adjust everything vertically. You've also got this spring wheel here that you're going to want adjusted so that it lightly applies pressure to the jamb itself, and that will help prevent it from coming up off the feed surface of the machine as it's coming through the machine. And that will also affect the reveal of your trim to the jamb itself. The first piece of material we're going to be running through the machine today is going to be a leg. So we just want to make sure that the machine is properly set up to run a leg and is set to the correct length so we get the proper amount of staples on the piece of material we're running through the machine. So for example, we're going to start by running an 8/0 length leg. So we just want to confirm that we're set to 8/0 on the staple pattern, which is 0 in this case, and we are set to 0. And then we're also going to want to make sure that we shoot our first and last staple, which in this case we are set to off. So we're going to leave that on off position. To stop first and last staple only. Off means that it's going to shoot the first and last staple. On means that it won't. And then we're also going to make sure that we're set to shoot a total of 9 staples instead of 5. So one thing that you will have to do when you first turn on the machine is you will have to activate these 2 through beam sensors here with the feed dog of the machine. And the way you will do that is to use the forward and reverse feed buttons on the machine to just manually jog the feed dog to pass through that through beam and to break it. And that is basically equivalent to the home cycle of the machine. Next step is going to be loading your trim into the machine, and we're going to align it to our scribe mark here, and then we're going to set our end clamp on the machine so that it touches the end of the jamb. That way it extends forward enough and hits the doorstop of the machine. Then I'll put in my trim pieces, just like so. And then I personally like to have the machine clamp up before I put in the doorstop. So we'll go ahead and clamp up. It extends forward, and then we'll go ahead and guide our doorstop into the channel here. Most importantly though, you need to make sure that the doorstop is accurately referencing to your doorstop here, and that you're set to the correct position on this part here, the either 3/8 or the 7/16, depending on whether you're running a leg or a header. And then we'll just make sure it's about flush here. These are the hands clear buttons. You will need to push both of them at the same time and continue to hold them for the machine to progress through the sequence. If you let go of either of them or both of them at any time during the sequence, the machine will pause, and then as soon as you continue to press both of them again, it will continue to go through the sequence. Here's the emergency stop for the machine. Push this at any time you hear a weird noise, something bad happens, material gets damaged, someone, heaven forbid, gets caught in the machine. Push this, should unclamp, stop doing what it's doing, and then whenever whatever caused you to want to stop the machine is cleared, go ahead and pull this back out, and then you would want to go to the main panel and push the start button again. Now that we've got all the material loaded into the machine, we've got the clamp cylinder extended, all you need to do is push and hold these buttons here. As soon as I push them, it should automatically fire the first staple. And then if I continue to hold them, it should continue to feed through the machine and staple as it goes through. So now I'll go ahead and do that. When switching from a leg to a header, you want to loosen these two black knobs here, and once you have them loose, it should allow you to pull this assembly off. And the reason why that's important is because you want to be able to have some extra room back here available so that when you go to miter both ends of your jamb, you've actually got extra material here for you to cut that 45-degree angle into the trim that you've stapled to the jamb.